case you're tuning in at home and you wondered why the spontaneous USA champ just broke out, we have Rio Olympians here. We are 101 days out to the Rio Olympics, and tomorrow, huge celebration in New York. But give it up one more time, our Rio Olympic team. So these guys are going to be all over New York tomorrow, Times Square from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., celebrating 100 days out. And they've been nice enough to join us here on AOL BUILD. We're very excited. I'm going to start with the old man in the group. And I see Steven Lopez smiling, so he knows who we're talking about. Steven, this is going to be your 5th Olympics. He's already qualified for Rio, by the way. So how does number 5 feel, and how does it feel being 101 days out to Rio right now?
You know, it's incredible. Just going back from my first Olympics in 2000, and here we are, you know, in 2016, 101 days out from making my 5th Olympic team, or on the 5th Olympic team, and you know, it's I'm just enjoying every step. Just being up here with these wonderful athletes, I'm enjoying the process, and I just can't wait to go out there and compete.
By the way, I got to introduce these guys first. So Tatiana McFadden, this is an easy introduction, okay? Paralympic champion in racing, okay? We have Brad Snyder, Paralympic champion in swimming. David Badaya, Olympic champion in diving. See, this is easy. Steven Lopez, and by the way, some of them are multiple, but we're just keeping it simple. Steven Lopez, also an Olympic champion. And don't worry, Mihao, we won't leave you hanging. Future Olympic champion, Mihao Swollen in kayaking right here. I guess I just want to ask you guys, what are you guys most looking forward to tomorrow? You have a lot on the docket and some places that people can come check you out tomorrow. Maybe talk a little about what's happening tomorrow.
Tomorrow's going to be really exciting. Start out with the Today Show, so that'll be really cool to be on.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
So that'll be a lot of fun. Just being here with all the athletes is amazing. It's probably the last time we'll all get together before we're all in Rio. And I will also be with BMW. They are building our racing chairs that will be out in Rio. So I'm really excited about that. So check out their station, and you get to see the new chair. That'll be for Rio.
I know there's long jump tomorrow. There's some other activity. And you guys doing demos tomorrow in Times Square? No, I know you can't do the diving in Times Square.
if we build a platform middle of Times Square, I guess you could do it off the buildings.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. They're working. Love to see that. So I want to say, so Steven, you and Mihao both are qualified for the games. Mihao, how does it feel now to be qualified, and what is the process like for qualifying in kayaking?
I mean, for me, it's amazing. It's been a really long road, and just to make it finally, it's an amazing feeling. And I think the process is quite long and strenuous. I qualified with some early points last year at the World Championships with the bronze medal. And when I raced at trials 2 weeks ago, I had a good lead, and I went into the trials just trying to have a good time, taking it easy, and I did just that, and I booked my ticket to Rio.
Awesome. So for those of you who don't know, every Olympic sport has its own oftentimes complicated qualification system. So Steven, you also qualified just very recently, is that correct?
Yeah, about a month ago. And so for us, there's a World Olympic qualifier or the regional qualifier, whether it be the African, European, Asian, and obviously ours is the Pan American region. And I qualified, I won there, and so you know it's really amazing, just to be able to represent your country at one Olympics is awesome, and just to be able to go, for my 5th time, it's an honor.
And so, David, what does your Olympic qualification look like right now? When do you qualify? What do you have to do still?
So obviously, it's all complex.
We can hate these two right here, right? Because they're qualified and you guys still.
All of us, like our shoulders are high, still nerves. No, but in mid-June is our qualifications, actually in Indianapolis. We have to be top 2 individually, and then we have a synchronized team. So I do synchronized 10-meter platform. So you just try to mirror image your synchronized partner, 3 stories in the air in a little tiny suit. So I think that's probably the hardest part, getting over that, like you're wearing your underwear in front of live TV. But the process is so complicated. I think what the public doesn't see is everything that goes on behind the scenes. It's so hard. You just see the glamorous side of the Olympics where all 5 of us can contest. It's not all glamour and bright lights. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat that goes into it. And it's just, there's a lot that you don't see that's extremely hard.
Is it tough right now just hearing all the talk about the Rio Olympics and knowing you still have to qualify, but yet you still, like, for those who know, the commercials are shot, like a lot of promotions are done. I think everyone knows, well, maybe I'm dating myself. Stephen will know this one. We're born the same year, 70. Dan and Dave were in a big Nike campaign back in the day. How much pressure do you feel? Does it almost grow as all the promotion and the commercials have started?
I mean, my heart's pounding a little bit. You just started talking about it and it started beating out of my chest. It's a lot of pressure, especially I think if you do well at the last Olympic Games, they expect you to do well the next. And so it just puts that much more weight on your shoulders. But I think if you simplify it, make it one step at a time, one journey at a time, and actually do Road to Rio, it makes it so much easier instead of seeing this huge, overwhelming, complex elephant that you have to eat. You're just doing it one bite at a time, you know?
And Tatiana and Brad, what about you guys? What is your qualification process like?
Ours is, so I have 2 separate qualifications. I'll do 7 events in Rio, the 1, 4, 8, 15, 5, the marathon, 4x4. So our qualifications for the
No big deal.
marathon.
Yeah, no big deal.
So I'll be a busy woman for the Rio Games. So our qualifications for the marathons were last October, so that was pretty difficult. We had to hit a little bit of a peak pretty early on, and the end of June, our qualifications will be in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's where I have to be top 3 in each and every event that I want to do. So for the 1, 4, 8, 15, and the 5.
And just so you guys know, Tatiana's trying to qualify in every single category from 100 meters to marathon. So it's like beyond what Michael Phelps tried to do in Beijing. You're just trying to, I don't know, you're trying to show everyone up, I feel
Being
like.
crazy.
Yes. And you just got back from competing. You just won the London Marathon. And like the week before, you won the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, it was called the Boston London Challenge, and it is quite a challenge to try to run 2 marathons in 6 days apart. So that was really, really tough, but it's all for Road to Rio.
And Brad, what's left for you in regards to qualification?
So thankfully my trials are kind of a one-stop shop. I don't have to do multiple trials, and my distances only go up to a 400 meters, so I'm thankful for that. But I'll be joining Tatiana in Charlotte, North Carolina from 29 June to the 2nd of July, and that'll be our opportunity to earn our spot on the team. For Paris swimming, it's all based on your world ranking. So we have 7 different events that we can try out for. I'll be trying out for 6. And based on my world ranking and my best event, we're all ranked against each other, and then they pick the roster from there. I'm currently ranked first in 3 different events, so if I can back that performance up in June, I'll be able to earn my spot and then go back to 2 months of training and hopefully hit Rio hard on the 7th of September. So
Awesome.
we're really
we're going to be rooting for all these guys for sure to qualify, and of course, you guys are just chilling right now. See, these are the relaxed ones on the panel. David, you've actually been to Rio for a test event already. What were your impressions of Rio and how prepared they are for the upcoming games?
So we were in Rio in February, and what people don't know, February, it's like summertime there, so we're going kind of like their winter, which isn't that bad. It's like still 70, 75 degrees. But the pool that we dove at in February and where the Olympics will be held, we actually dove there at 2007 Pan American Games, and so I was pretty used to the facility. I was actually surprised how much construction was done, because you go to other Olympic test events in Beijing and then in London, and there's so much going on that you're like, are they ever going to finish it? I feel like it's every Olympic Games. Are they going to finish? But it seemed like Rio had their stuff together. The athlete village was going up nicely, and it looks like it's going to be pretty sweet games.
Awesome. And you had, I believe, a year and a half ago, you gave birth to a daughter?
Well, not me, but...
Not me, your wife? Your wife?
That would be pretty hard. Yeah, my wife did. We introduced Dakota Bodai into the world September 10th in 2014. So this road to the Olympic Games is totally different than the other 2 that I've been through, and it's so much cooler because I get to have my wife and my daughter be with me side by side. On that training that's extremely hard, and then obviously in Rio, hopefully in a couple of 100 days.
And how has that impacted your training, being a full-time parent and also having to train?
So after you make the biggest goal in your sport, you win the Olympic Games, you kind of reach that pinnacle. It's kind of like, what do you do next? And the year after my Olympic champion came to life, it was the hardest year of training. But introducing Coda into the world, it kind of just puts that extra motivation, I guess, into my step going into the pool. Those moments that you don't want to go train are the moments you need to the most. And for me to be able to have my daughter and wife right beside me, knowing that I'm going to go do this not just for myself, but I have a family now to provide for, and so that means that I need to be going into that pool and working hard.
Awesome. We're going to have some cute Olympic pictures, I think, coming up.
I'm
from
sure
you,
you
yes.
will. A little pigtail. She's the cutest little button nose. She'll be a
Need one
heartthrob.
up here, yeah. So I want to, Brad, first of all, I want to thank you for your service to our country. For those of you who don't know, Brad served our country in multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, was injured in 2011. It's when he lost his sight, and amazingly, a year later, he was winning a gold medal in swimming. How important was sports for you, for your recovery, and what have you learned along the way that you share with folks? 'Cause I know you do a lot of speaking.
Yeah, so that injury obviously was pretty devastating in a lot of different ways. One, the most obvious being learning how to adapt to a life without sight. But more than that, I had spent 11 years in the Navy at that point, and I had a very, I was a subject matter expert in taking bombs apart. So that's not really relevant when you're blind, because they're not going to let me near a bomb with clippers in my hand when I can't see it, right? So I had to make a pretty substantial career change, and moreover, I really had to redefine my purpose and really find my sense of self again. And sports was the way that I was allowed to do that. It allowed me to feel like my old self, allowed me to feel like I was succeeding, like I was free, and allowed me to kind of move through that repurpose and redefinition period really, really well. And since then, I've been able to build a new career as a more or less professional athlete, which has been really rewarding and incredible in so many different ways. It's nice for me going into Rio now. When I was going into London, I was newly blinded. I had never been to a Paralympics before. Everything was just glitz and glam, and it was just really cool. I was like a naive little 11-year-old kid, I guess. This time, I'm actually the 32-year-old I really am. I know what I'm getting into. I have a great group of sponsors behind me. My family's behind. We're going to be all really excited to go down there, know what we're getting into, and it'll be nice to kind of enjoy this experience from a new look. So I'm totally excited to earn my spot on Team USA again, to go down to Rio and compete and try to bring home a couple more gold medals.
Is it? Yeah. Now, I know you want to talk about your training since 2012 has changed a little bit. What have you learned since London, and what are you doing to train for these Rio Games?
So the lead up to London was really short, obviously. I think I really only was swimming at all for about 8 months and really training directly for about 6 months before I was able to go to the games. This go around, I'm much more mature in my training plan. I've actually got Under Armour on board as one of my sponsors. They're located in Baltimore with me, and more than just some t-shirts, they've been able to give me an NFL-style trainer and work out some of the best facilities in the world. And I've been doing some really intense dryland workouts that are hopefully going to give me the strength that I need to go into the sprints. In my able-bodied athletic career, I was a distance swimmer doing a lot of mile and on up. Now in the Paralympics, I'm swimming a 50-meter race, which only takes about 25 seconds. So it's been a stretch for me to kind of bring my disciplines down, add some strength, add some bulk, and really try to vector power towards the water. And I feel the strongest I've actually ever been in my life. So now I'm really excited to take that newfound power and race fast in Rio.
Awesome, awesome. Is there any difference swimming with sight or without? Is it exactly the same, or was there an adjustment for you?
There's certainly adjustment. For one, on my turns, I have someone stand on the side with one of these blind canes. They'll put a tennis ball on the end, and they tap me in the back to let me know that I'm about to hit the wall. And that's how I know to turn. And we practice that move over and over and over again, just like passing a baton in a relay. Like, I'm getting ready for it. As soon as I get that tap, I roll over and flip. And then during my arm recovery on the water, I'm actually dragging my fingertips on the surface, looking for those lane lines, trying to stay in the center of the lane in that clear water. More than that, though, inevitably every blind guy's going to crash into the lane line at some point or another. It's a good metaphor for life. Like, we're all going to crash. We're all going to get hit every once in a while. You got to get back into it, get your speed back up, and get into the race. That's what I like about NASCAR. I make the joke that blind
NASCAR.
NASCAR, right? Like, everyone's got a real a chance to crash. So you just got to get back into it, get into that race, and whoever touches the wall first is the winner, and I hope to be that winner.
Awesome. We hope as well. We hope as well. So, Stephen, we were joking a little bit about your age and 5 Olympics, but it's really amazing. What an accomplishment qualifying for 5 Olympics. What has kept you motivated this long? You've won 2 Olympic Games. What has you fired up for Rio?
You know, this is something that I've enjoyed doing ever since I was a 5-year-old kid. And when I initially started, it was just because I like the Ninja Turtle cartoons and the Karate Kid, and because my older brother did it.
Which was your favorite Ninja Turtle? Did you have a favorite Ninja
Michelangelo.
Turtle? Michael, me too.
Michael,
Me too.
yeah. The crazy guy, like eating pizza. But you know, at that age, I was just doing it because I like kicking, rolling, punching, and my older brother was someone I looked up to and still do. He's the coach. He's the U.S. Olympic coach, and you know, it's just something fantastic that our family was able to do together. After my brother started, then it was me, then my younger brother, and my sister. And it was just something that we did as a family. You know, summer vacations, we went to the Junior Olympics. We traveled all across the country in our minivan, just traveling to all the competitions. And, you know, the first time I made the Olympic team in 2000, I didn't know what to expect. I just went out there, did my best, and, you know, God blessed me, and I won a gold medal. I beat the Korean in the finals. And for us, that's like icing on the cake, because that's where Taekwondo originated, in Korea. And then I was like, man, this is awesome. I mean, just to be able to be on that first place podium, listening to the national anthem, having that, you know, medal being put around your neck, and it's just a feeling that I know we all visualize, we all think it, we all dream it, we all breathe it and feel it and think about it every time we train. So to actually accomplish that dream, I knew it was something that I wanted to aspire to go to again. And then I went on to 2004, won a gold medal there. And at that time, my younger brother and sister were gaining of an age where they could possibly make the Olympic team with me. And the first 2 Olympics, my mom didn't go and support me. She just gets extremely nervous. I mean, if you can imagine, there's a full contact sport where, you know, things couldn't happen. You can get kicked in the head and get knocked out. And she just knows all the hard work that, you know, her kids put into this sport. And so I remember telling her, I go, Mom, I remember very vividly in the kitchen, I go, listen, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to make it again, Marky's going to make it, and Diana's going to make it, and to top it all off, your oldest son's going to be the coach for all of them. I go, so if we all make it, you better be there. And she was like, okay. But I don't think she really believed that was possible. And, you know, everything aligned, you know, in 2008 for us. And just to be able to walk into the opening ceremonies and look to my left and see my 2 brothers, look to my right and see my sister, and to go out there, and I won a bronze. My sister took a bronze. My brother took a silver. It was a very good day for us, a very good Olympics. I mean, you won a silver medal, so I know that's awesome for you in Beijing Olympics. And, you know, it's just, this is something that I really enjoy doing. I love to do, and I know there will be a time where I'm not going to be able to do it anymore at a top level, like I am able to now. And so that's why I continue doing it. A lot of people after the second Olympics were like, Steven, you should just kind of stop while you're ahead, you know? And it's almost they're coming like from a place of fear. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, because you may lose the next time. But yeah, well, that's sport. You know, you may win, you may lose, but as long as you go out there and give your 100% effort and perform at your very best, that's the only thing you can ask of yourself.
So your older brothers still coach the Olympic team. What are your sister and younger brother doing?
So my sister took, you know, she went, had a baby. Well,
She actually had
didn't
the
have
baby.
the baby. She
Yes.
actually had a baby. So she wasn't able to compete. And my younger brother, he got second place at the U.S. Olympic team trials, so he'll be going as my training partner. So we'll all be there in Rio, you know, so it's going to be a good time.
Awesome. Tatiana, by the way, the stories of all of these athletes are unbelievable. Tatiana, I was reading online, you were born in an orphanage in Russia with spina bifida. Your mom, I guess, found you at 6 years old there, Deborah, and brought you to the U.S. And was it 11, 14? How old were you at your first Paralympic Games?
15.
15? What, and I guess, again, sports played such a big part in your life. What was it about sports that, I guess, your mom really encouraged you to do it? What was that like for you?
Yeah, so coming to the U.S., I was really sick and really anemic, and my parents found a local sports program there. When I came to the U.S., I had so many medical treatments because in Russia, for the first 6 years of my life, I had no medical treatment and no wheelchair available. So a lot happened coming into the U.S., going to school for the first time, and wheelchair for the first time, and then sports for the first time. And trying sports absolutely changed my life. I got involved with a local sports club called the Bennett Blazers, and I tried everything: ice hockey, downhill skiing, swimming, table tennis, fencing.
Did you fencing too?
I did, yeah. I
we
wasn't very
gotta
good.
get you in. We gotta get you fencing. You're not doing enough.
Wasn't very good. And then finally wheelchair racing. And I just loved wheelchair racing. I don't know if it was the need for speed at the age of 7, but what I noticed about doing sports was I was starting to get healthy, and I could live an independent life for myself. Then you can have goals and dreams and desires, and that's when I wanted to be an Olympic athlete. My parents found out where trials were going to be, and I was so young at the time and so excited, and I had no idea what was about to come. All I knew was that I had to run fast and be in top 3, and it just changed everything. Being on that podium at 15 years old, I knew that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life, and I knew that I wanted to not only push myself, but really push the sport as well.
And when did you decide to do marathons as well? Because I was looking at your social media pages, and you have a crazy training schedule and competition. Why marathons? Why did you add that?
That's a great question. I trained for my first marathon in 2009. Being a freshman in college, my coach came up to me and said, "Tatiana, you should run a marathon." And I looked at him and I was like, "You're crazy. Like, I don't think I could physically do it." I've come from a sprinting background, only the 1, 2, 4, and 8, and that's it. I could barely do 8 miles in 1 week, so let alone never a marathon. And he just said, think about doing the 400 meters about 100 times or so, and you're fine. So that pretty much changed my life forever in 2009, and now it's so addicting, and I love it so much. But I think it really brings a good base for track as well, where I could skillfully do all events from the 1 to the 5,000.
And also a very important but quick topic. You met Prince Harry last week?
I did, yeah. He told me congratulations and happy birthday, because I share the birthday
And I
with
think
the
you had a
queen.
birthday, and David also just had a birthday. So give him a round of applause for birthdays. And Mihai, I just want to ask you before we go to the crowd questions, this is your first Olympics. What are you most looking forward to?
Oh man, after hearing all these success stories from the Olympics, I get thirsty, and I want to get after that gold medal even more. And it's been a really long road, like I said, so coming down to one point, I'm just super excited, and I really want to give it my all, and I'm finally beginning to trust myself more as an athlete and trust in my training more. So I think I'm in the best shape of my career so far, and I just can't wait to compete in Rio this summer.
Awesome. All right, well, let's hear some of our crowd. I have some questions for you guys.
Hi. Okay, so this is inspired by Brad. And Joyce Myers once said, make your pain your gain. And that's what you did, and I think that's awesome. Amazing. But you're kind of a improviser in a way. So this is to you and to anyone who wants to feel this, maybe everyone. If you were to improv, and not be able to do Olympics, in Jesus' name, it's not what's going to happen. But if you were to improvise and do something totally different, and I know you, Michael, you just started, so whatever. If you were to retire next year, 2 years from now, what would you do?
Well, if this is a question for him, right? All right. Well, I think I would play guitar. I want to check out my other skills. I think there's more to life than sports, and so that would be one thing I would want to do.
I think we're going to start a band, because that was mine, too. I played
Yeah?
guitar. Yeah.
See, that's why
Nice.
I stole the question.
You don't want
Not
me in
me.
that band.
I'll just dance. I have no musical skills.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'll be your backup dancers, I
Yeah.
guess. I do enjoy dancing, so I don't have much of a singing voice. So
I think all of us, we're Olympians, so you go up and you meet us, we're kind of intense. We're also a little down to earth, but most importantly, we're straight up competitors. And so it doesn't matter if it's the Olympic Games or Go Fish, we want to win. Yeah. And so I think whatever it is, whether it's sports or something else, we want to do the best that we can, and we want to win at that.
Whatever it is.
We won't go into that.
All right. Right here.
Hi, how do each of you prepare yourselves mentally right before you're about to enter a race or a competition?
I think visualization. Like, I can't hit that enough. And especially what's neat for me as a blind athlete, I do a lot of my races off of a stroke count. So I actually can visualize my race stroke for stroke, exactly what I'm going to do. And my advice to younger athletes and old athletes alike, the reason I like visualizing so much is that for us, like David said, like we spend 4 years training in the dark, like morning practices, afternoon practices in the gym. When the bright lights shine, that's the first time that's really like that much energy in a big 14,000, 17,000 person crowd, the media, the sponsors, all that sort of stuff. You can't replicate that in training, try as you might. So when you get to that moment when those lights turn on and that crowd is cheering for you loud, that's not the time where you say, all right, what was my race plan? Like, you want to know exactly what you're going to do. As soon as that referee calls you to the block, you're going to dive in and you're going to swim exactly the thing that you prepared for 4 years to do. And if you know in your heart that you're the most prepared person in that pool, on that diving platform, on that track, then you will succeed. And that comes from visualizing.
I know for me, I train like I'm going to compete. I'm so lucky to be at the University of Illinois, where we have a 27 wheelchair racers, and a lot of those are Paralympic athletes and gold medalists. So if I can be up there with the men and train with the men, I usually do that every single day. But going into races as well, I visualize. I think that's really, really important. And since I'm doing such a wide range of races, each race is so different for me. So my 100 visualization is about speed and power, whereas a marathon, I had to focus on different aspects of the race. Okay, how am I going to take this turn? How am I going to take this downhill? What about this climb? Where are my other competitors? Where I am versus depending on the race, if I'm far behind, or how much faster do I need to go in order to catch the lead pack women. So visualization is really, really key.
All right, got another one back there.
Hey guys, thank you for being here. Very much looking forward to the games. This question might be personal for most people, but I think for Olympians, a lot of people are interested. When you guys are training, what are your diets like?
Being American.
So I could talk. My diet, if you've seen what I wear, like you have to be strict. You don't want to be on the platform with that gut hanging over your little briefs. So my wife's actually a dietitian, so she's an RD and she cooks extremely healthy. And thankfully, luckily for me, I eat healthy too. But it's pretty strict, raw, whole foods, lots of meats, and then splurging is at the minimum, at least for me.
David, is there any sports science to your briefs?
Sports science.
Every other sport is like sports science now. Is there someone at like Under Armour working on like incredible briefs that will help you dive better?
Nike's working on making them incredibly tight so that when you're going 35 miles an hour head first into the water, they're not falling off.
Okay. That would be important. All right. Anyone else want to take the diet?
Well, I think for the most part, what you eat is how you feel and the kind of output that you're going to give. So if you want to, we all think of ourselves as being Ferraris or Lamborghinis, and you just want to put that kind of fuel in yourself that's going to really give you a health benefit, and it also makes you feel good. Of course, I like eating pizza and burgers and cookies and all that stuff every now and then. But for the most part, I think we all eat very healthy because we want to feel good and we want to give our best performance.
All right, one more. Eat chocolate chip cookies, advice from an Olympian. There you go.
Hello, guys. So you were just saying that you were all very competitive outside of playing your sport. Do you remember the first thing that you were seriously competitive about in your childhood?
I don't know. For me, it was video games. I grew up with two.
Oh, that was the symbol.
I didn't want to say that, but it's 100% true. I grew up with two brothers and a baby sister, and Mortal Kombat and all that sort of stuff was stuff that would, the house would come down because I lost and my brother beat me again, and he's younger than me, and I hated that. So thankfully, I got to get to the pool, and because I was bigger than them, I could beat them in swimming, and that's why I got addicted first, because I could beat my brothers. But eventually, my brother started beating me at that too. So.
Yeah, Monopoly, I was always the banker. And it's like, Steven really wins a lot. And it's because, I don't know, you can do what you got to do to win sometimes, I guess. No, but board games and Atari, I mean, that's going way back. But Atari, Nintendo.
The old man on the panel.
Man, yeah.
That's right. By the way, have you guys ever had the experience of playing your sport against someone in a video game and them just kicking your butt? Have you ever had like a fighting game that you just couldn't beat someone in?
Yeah,
Like-
I don't like
Yeah.
because I don't play unless I'm really good. So I'll go in like back and start playing and get good, and then I'll challenge you.
Yeah, there was a Wii fencing game, and I could not beat anyone, and I was ready to like just grab a sword and start beating people with it. So I think that's our time. I want to thank you guys for coming on here. Give them a round of applause. Two closing remarks. Number one, if you want to catch these guys plus like 100 other Olympians, you can come out to Times Square tomorrow, 100 Days to Rio from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. We are taking over Times Square. You can come on down, interact with athletes, get autographs. I guess 3 final points. Number two, we went 25 minutes without talking about Zika and the Olympics, so we should round of applause for that. Give it up. Probably be the last interview where you don't get asked about it. And guys, I'm so proud to be on the stage with you. You guys are incredible. Good luck towards Rio, and let's take us out with the USA. Hit it, Parker. Say AOL BUILD, everyone.